Alrighty guys, so at the end of the day I managed to do my first video here, and today I'm going to go through the UCIS exam questions for 2022, but they're mostly are same for 2021, and I assume those would be mostly same for 2023 and further years with minor changes. Why I'm doing this video? Because I'm going to take that exam myself, and I couldn't find any source on YouTube that would give a legitimate explanation to the questions. It's just most of the videos are just a question answer, question answer, question answer, like in the test form. USAS website itself, it has a questionnaires and answers, but no explanation mostly, which makes it harder to learn if you don't know the answers to the questions. Most of the YouTube videos, they either have again, there is no explanations in the YouTube videos. So here I go with the questions. As you know, the UCS has 100 questions, and we are going to go one by one with them. First question: what is the supreme law of the land? Obviously, supreme law means the law that is above other laws, which is Constitution. Here is in the United States. What does Constitution do? So this question is a little bit tricky. If you're not from United States, it doesn't matter wherever in the world. Most of the time, you would say that Constitution regulates the life in the country. But in the United States, there are three answers that UCIS says that those are the right answers. And first is it sets up the government, defines the government, and protects the basic rights of Americans. Third question: the idea of self-government is in the first three words of constitutions. First three words of Constitution. What are these words? Answer is simple: we the people. That's how the Constitution begins. What is amendment? So if you don't know the translation of the word amendment, basically what it means is a change, and here it is a change to the Constitution. What do we call first 10 amendments in Constitution? So if you don't know US history, after was really rough because they were dependent from England, from Great Britain, and they had to fight for their rights. And the first 10 amendments that were recorded to the Constitution is called Bill of Rights. And what is a one right or freedom in the First Amendment? So there are like a couple of them: is speech, religion, assembly, press, petition the government. How many amendments does the Constitution have? There is no thinking or explanation. You have to learn it by heart. 27. What did the Declaration of Independence do? So as I said, there was a war between England and the United States, and what did Declaration of Independence did? It declared the independence from the Great Britain. What are two rights in Declaration of Independence? Again, it would be a freedom of speech, freedom of religion. You might think, but actually it's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's one of those. So Declaration of Happiness, they declared they have a right to live, the right to liberty, and right to pursue the happiness. What is a freedom of religion? You can practice any religion, obviously. The answer is in the question itself. What is economic system in the United States? Capitalism, obviously. Capitalist or market economy.
What is a rule of law?
So here, most of the questions, they actually have the answer in them. And this specific question is also hiding an answer in it, which is rule of law means everybody have to go by law. Name one of the branches of government. If you don't know, there are a couple of branches of government. It's a Congress, President, which is executive, and the courts, which are judicial. What stopped one branch of government from becoming too powerful? This thing is called the system of checks and balances. You also have to know this by heart. Who is in charge of executive branch? So executive branch is under the president. Judicial branch is manages the courts, works with the laws, and Congress is a legislative. Basically what they do, they make laws in Congress. That's why it's called legislative. Who makes the federal laws? As I said, the Congress make laws, so they're Congress, Senate. That's the right answer. What are the two parts of US Congress? So if you don't know, the US Congress has the two parts. It's a Senate and the Congress. 100 senators, and there should be 435 congressmen. We elect senators for how many years? Is obviously they are elected. The senators are being elected for six years, while the congressmen are being elected for 2 years. Who is your current senator? So this question is also, you have to learn it by heart, varies state by state. Who does US senator represent, which is each state has 2 senators, that's why they represent states. Also, their representatives for the Congress, they are dependent on a population, which California obviously has the biggest population, so that they have biggest amount of the congressmen representing them in a Congress. How many years president is being selected? Obviously it's 4 years when our elections are. If you don't know, it's in November. What is the name of the president of the United States now? Currently is Joe Biden. What is the name of vice president of the United States now? Is Kamala Harris currently. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes the president? Obviously, vice president becomes the president, and if she cannot serve, then the speaker of the Congress becomes the president. Who is the commander-in-chief of the military? The president is the commander-in-chief. In most of the countries of the world, it's the same actually. Who signs the bills to become laws? Obviously, the president signs the bills. Who votes the bills? Vetoes the bill. The president also can veto the bill. What does the president cabinet do? They advise the president. What are the cabinet level positions? So there are like most of the countries in the world, they have ministers. In here in the United States, they're called secretaries. So Secretary of Education, Secretary of State, Secretary of Agriculture. What does the judicial branch do? Judicial branch reviews the law, explains the law, resolves the disputes, decides if law goes against the Constitution, basically, that works with the law. What is the highest court in United States? As in many questions, this question also has the answer in itself, and it's a Supreme Court. How many justices are on Supreme Court? This is also something you have to learn by heart. So the numbers for the numbers of the voting members in Congress and the number of Supreme Court justices, it's 9. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? It's John Roberts. Under the Constitution, some power belongs to federal government. What is the one power of the federal government? So if you lived here, you probably know that most of the things that are regulated by state, like school, police. That's also another question actually. The major things like war, printing money, they are regulated by the federal government. And the answers are printing money, declare war, create an army, make treaties. Under the Constitution, some powers belong to the state. What are the powers that belong to states? As I said, it's provide schooling, provide protection, provide safety, give a driver's license, approve the zoning. Who is the governor of the state now? Obviously, it will vary. What is the capital of your state? You have to know this by heart. What are the 2 major political parties in the United States? Obviously, it's Democratic and Republican parties. What is the political party of the president now? We both know that, well know that it's the Democratic Party. What is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives now? Currently, it's Nancy Pelosi. What are the 4 amendments of Constitution about who can vote? Describe one of them. Basically, the requirements for voting are you should be 18 years old, you have to be a resident in the United States, you don't have to pay poll taxes to vote, any citizen can vote. You have to be a citizen, not a resident. That's one of the things. What are responsibilities that are only for United States citizens? Serve in a jury, vote in a federal election. So basically, if you're a citizen, you have 2 responsibilities. When you are called to jury, you have to serve as a jury, and when you're in an election, you have to vote in a federal election. That's one of the responsibilities. Name one right only for United States citizens. Is voting and being elected, obviously. What are 2 rights for everyone living in the United States? Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, freedom to bear arms, and petition the government. What do we show loyalty when we say Pledge of Allegiance? Obviously, you're showing your loyalty to the United States, to the flag. What is a promise you make when you become United States citizens? You give up your loyalty to other countries, defend the Constitution, obey the laws, serve in U.S. military if needed, serve important work for the nation if needed, be loyal to the United States. I guess one of those is enough. Then, how old citizen must be to be eligible to vote? Obviously, you can vote here after you are 18. What are 2 ways Americans can participate in their democracy? Voting, obviously, joining political parties, help with the campaigns, and there are like a bunch of answers, but that should be enough. When is the last day you can file your federal income tax? If you live here in the United States, you know that's April 15th. Actually, it's between 18 and 26. When must men register for the selective service? When you're 18 years and you live here, you have to register for the selective service. What is the one reason colonists came to America? Well, there are several reasons, but it's most of the time freedom, political liberty, religious freedom, economic opportunities. They basically were trying to escape Great Britain. The high taxes, because the British army stayed in their houses. It was called boarding, quartering, and because they didn't have a self-government. Those are actually the main reasons, not the freedom. So I was mistaken. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? So this is something you have to learn by heart. It's Thomas Jefferson. And this is again something that you have to learn it by heart. When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? And it was adopted in July 4th, which is the birthday of America. There were original 13 states. Name 3. So if you don't know, there were New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. But it's easier to remember New York, New Jersey, and New Hampshire, because all of them start with the word New, or North and South Carolina, or if you know map, Virginia, Maryland are also connected, so those could be named too. What happened at the Constitution Convention? Constitution obviously was adopted, was written, and the founding fathers wrote the Constitution. When the Constitution was written, so this is something that you have to learn by heart. 1787 is a date when the Constitution was written. The federal papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. Name one of the writers. There were several. Basically, it's James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay. That's and the Publius. What is the one thing Benjamin Franklin was famous? Obviously, everybody knows that he was a United States diplomat, oldest member of Constitution Convention, first Postmaster General of the United States, writer of Poor Richard Almanac, started the first free libraries. So if you would be answering that he was a United States president, it might be considered correct, but most of the time the answer is one of these. Who is a father of our country? George Washington. What territory did the United States buy from France? Louisiana territory was bought from France. That's why there were Creole people who spoke some kind of French language. Name one war United States fought by United States in 1900s. So several wars were fought, but most famous is Mexican American or Spanish American, or Civil War also can be named. Name U.S. war between North and South. Everybody knows that it's a civil war. Name one problem that led to civil war. So the biggest thing was slavery, you can name that, but also economic and states' rights. What was the important thing about Abraham Lincoln did? He's known for abolishing slavery, so if you're a little bit educated, you will know this too. What did Emancipation Proclamation do? It freed slaves. Basically, as you understand from the name, emancipation basically means freedom. That's it. What did Susan B. Anthony do? This is something you would probably also need to learn by heart, because this is not a famous person if you're not American, but she fought for the women's rights. Name one war fought by United States in 1900s. World War IV, World War II, Vietnam War, also Persian Gulf War, what could be named. Who was a president during World War I? So this is also that you have to know something by heart. It was Woodrow Wilson. So Woodrow Wilson, you can know it by the Wilson Doctrine. If you learn the history, there should be something like that. Who was a president during World War II or Great Depression? It was Franklin Roosevelt. So two presidents, two World War. First is Wilson, and second war is Roosevelt. Just learn it by heart. Who did the United States fight in World War II? They were fighting against Germany, Japan, and Italy. Before the President Eisenhower was a general, what war was he in? So I believe Eisenhower was probably in World War II. Eisenhower was in World War II. During the Cold War, what was the main concern of the United States? Communism was the main concern. What was a movement trend and interracial discrimination? Civil rights movement. What did Martin Luther King Jr. did? He fought for civil rights. What major event happened on September 11? Terrorist attack on America. Name one American Indian tribe in the United States. So there are several of them, but you can name Cherokee, Navajo, Chippewa, Pueblo, Apache, and Cherokee. I think they are most famous ones. Name one of two longest rivers in the United States. So obviously Missouri and Mississippi are the longest, but you can name any of them. What ocean is on the west coast of the United States? So this is a little tricky because you can misunderstand what the west coast and east coast is. So west coast is where the California is, and ocean obviously here is Pacific Ocean. What ocean is on the east coast of the United States? Is obviously Atlantic Ocean. Name U.S. territories. So there are a couple of them: Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Guam, or Northern Mariana Island. But Guam is easy to remember. I go with Guam most of the time. Name one state border with Canada. Bunch of states are border with Canada. The Washington and Montana are easiest to remember because they're big and they're on the map. Name one state that borders Mexico: California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. What is the capital of the United States? Obviously Washington, D.C. Where is the United States Statue of Liberty located? It's in New York. Symbols. Why does flag 13 stripes? So that represents 13 original colonies, 13 states that were colonies. Why does a flag has 50 stars? So obviously 50 states, 50 stars. Answer is there. What is the name of national anthem? So this is something you also have to learn by heart. It's called Star Spangled Banner. When does the United States celebrate Independence Day? July 4th. Name two national U.S. holidays: New Year's, Martin Luther King's President Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving. Any of those, basically. Alright, guys. Good luck to you with your exam. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. I hope this was the fastest video you've ever heard.